everybody. Welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsey.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Guess what time it is?
It is
Spooky season.
Yes.
done.
I tried to sing it, and then I was like, this doesn't sound very spooky. So the season tried to be spookier.
Spooky season.
There you go. That was better.
You didn't really commit, so.
I didn't. I changed halfway through. That's okay. Failed. I was like, why am I singing it so joyously? Need to be creepy.
Try it again. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
In honor of celebrating me, I got you guys gifts.
What better way?
I mean, I won't say no to gifts.
Spooky season is like our Christmas.
It's like my Christmas.
But yet we also give Christmas gifts to each other. So it's like two Christmases.
Hey, I got to unravel.
1, 2, 3. Wait, don't say anything. I haven't unwrapped mine yet.
Oh, I love it.
It's wine glasses that say Happy Halloween.
Mine says eat, drink, and be scary.
Oh, I love it.
Those are adorable.
These are super cute. Where'd you get these?
Cooper's Hawk.
Of course,
Cooper's Hawk is so classy with their Halloween.
This is a nice.
It's a nice little like.
It's
Thank you.
glass mug.
Like a wine mug. It's not like a wine glass.
What
It's
are
a
they called?
stemless wine
Tumbler.
glass.
It's like a tumbler.
It's actual glass.
It's a stemless wine glass.
Is that what they call them?
Yes.
I'm so classy.
It's a tumbler.
It's a wine mug.
I drink my wine out of my plastic cups.
Sometimes.
We were
Yeah.
just talking about my accent.
Yes, we did. It's been in full
Captain
force
Morgan
tonight.
Apple Smash.
My accent is out in full force tonight, and I don't know why.
Pie.
I think the pecan pie is what started it.
So to commemorate spooky season, we wanted to do kind of a spooky season / Halloween themed episode.
This is Halloween.
Everybody make a scene.
Na, 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 na.
Pumpkin scream in the dead of night.
Boydston. That was
She's
great.
never
Thank
seen
you.
the movie. It's
We
been
are-
a full year.
For the month of October, though, we are going to have Boydston watch a scary movie a week. One movie a week, a classic.
Yep. We're going to sit her down and force her to because she has promised to many times.
Yep.
I will do it.
So
Okay.
I can commit
Sarah's
to
going
one
to pick
movie a
2,
week.
and I will pick 2.
Okay. Ooh, can we do that for each other too? Because I like
Yeah.
to watch scary movies.
Sure.
You can play too.
I love watching scary movies.
We can do that. So
And
me and you will just have to decide what we have and haven't seen yet.
I know. That's just it. Like, I need actual recommendations because I feel like I've seen most of them.
I'll come up with some.
That Malignant is coming out.
What is that?
Like,
Like in theaters?
yeah, I see a
Ooh.
trailer for it on, I think, YouTube. It looks pretty spooky.
Netflix came out with like their whole Halloween lineup of what they're releasing from now to Halloween. All their scary
Ooh.
movies. So you have to look that up too because I was reading that.
A Hallow lineup.
It's like, yeah, like they're
If you
releasing
will.
spooky movies and stuff.
I love it.
Okay.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the spooky lineup.
So our Halloween themed episode is literally about the history of Halloween.
Halloween. No, it didn't go as well. I didn't
This
want to sing the
was
same song. I
Halloween.
almost sang that again. I was like, Lindsay, stop. No, don't do it.
La, 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 la. Okay, that one is a must-do without anybody's list. Ow.
Boydston's going to start us off about Halloween.
Okay. If you're unaware, Halloween is a yearly holiday celebrated on October 31st.
Is it yearly?
It's
Just
annual.
It is an annual holiday.
I could have said annual, but it's yearly. It's thought to be largely influenced by folk customs and beliefs from Celtic-speaking countries.
I have that word a lot in mine too.
I know.
I was like, ooh.
Celtic.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Not going to say the S sound. Not going to say
I
the
know.
S sound.
Because I want to also. Yes.
The origins date back to an ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
What?
Samhain.
I had no idea that's how you pronounce
How
it.
are you pronouncing it?
I don't even want to tell you.
No, now I want to know.
It's like Samhain.
I was pronouncing it exactly like it was
Yeah,
spelled.
I thought it was like Samhain or
Samhain.
Samhain.
In Gaelic, it's Samhain.
Oh, okay. I believe
Are you saying Samhain?
Like Sa.
Mm-hmm.
Win.
Samhain. Samhain.
You guys are thinking too much about this.
We're just gonna
I
commit
have
to
say a
Samhain.
lot coming up. So Samhain.
Samhain.
Okay, I can handle that.
Remember the Celts lived over 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France. And at that time, they celebrated their new year on November 1st, and this day marked the end of summer and the harvest. It also marked the beginning of the dark, cold winter, which at the time was often associated with death. For these reasons, the Celts believed that on the night before the New Year, the boundary between the living world and the dead world became blurred. They often thought that the night of October 31st, the ghosts... There she is. She laughed.
31st.
31st.
31st of October. 31st.
I just happened to be watching your mouth as you said it.
That's so weird. Why are you watching her mouth?
Please don't do that. That's weird.
You want me to pay attention to you?
I'm going to hold my paper
I
up.
saw your mouth make an F.
31st. Okay. They thought that on the night of October 31st,
Yes.
the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth, some causing trouble and damaging crops.
Mischievous ghosts.
Others, however, were said to revisit their homes. Homes.
The ghosts are revisiting their house. Damn ghosts. Is that why we celebrate Halloween? Because of the hose?
Yeah, special hose.
There's some hoes in the house.
Homes.
Sorry. They were revisiting their homes
Okay.
and seeking hospitality from the homes, not the hoes. Places were set at the dinner table, and
I was really good at hospitality, though.
I gotta take a drink, but I don't want to aspirate. So
I'll show you hospitality.
That's what the host said. Hey, every time I hear that word, I think of Michael Scott. She was a hoe. Faux show.
It's funny because it was a typo.
Oh, you wrote hose?
I wrote hose. That's why I said hose.
That makes it better. You just stumbled over your words.
I was committed.
Holy shit.
Wait a second. That's not supposed to be
Oh my
hose.
god. You read it correctly.
I did.
Well done.
Okay. Places were set at the dinner table and by the fire to welcome them with the belief that the soul must be appeased. The Druids, or Celtic priests, thought that the presence of the spirits made it easier to channel and make predictions about the future. Related festivities centered around these predictions with forms of divination and included apple bobbing, nut roasting.
I'm trying so hard to keep it together, okay?
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at these birds just going, birds. Everything's fine.
Nut roasting. They also did what? Sorry.
Nut roasting, scrying, pouring molten lead or egg whites into water, dream interpretation, and more.
Pouring egg whites into water? Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm. So,
I do that when I'm in my ramen noodles. Put egg whites in
I don't think they were making ramen here.
you put egg whites in your ramen noodles?
Put eggs in
It's
there.
so fancy.
I don't put eggs in my ramen.
Boil
I
it
just-
in the boiling water?
Boil it and put the packet in and call it a day. No, so it's the same theory as pouring molten lead. So whatever shape that substance turns into, they can interpret that as something.
Kind of like a Rorschach test. Like, what do you see in this shape?
Yes, and that in turn is their prediction for the future.
Gotcha.
I don't know. So the resulting fortunes would serve as an important source of comfort during the long winters. And as such, the Druids would build large bonfires where people gathered to burn crops and use animals as sacrifices to their deities. The flames, smoke, and ashes were thought to have protective and cleansing powers. In Wales, bonfires were lit to prevent the souls of the dead from falling to earth, and later were thought to keep away the devil. They wore costumes consisting of animal heads and skins and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. At the end of the celebrations, they would use the sacred fire to light their own hearth fires and to help protect them from the coming winter. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory, and over the course of the 400 years that the Roman Empire ruled, the Celtic celebration of Samhain was combined with Roman festivals. The first was Feralia, where the Romans commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the goddess of fruit and trees. Her symbol was an apple, and the integration of this Roman festival with the Celtic tradition of Samhain is likely the explanation for bobbing for apples. In later centuries, the festivities included mumming and guising, and this was where people went house to house in disguise as they recited verses or sang songs in exchange for food. The original tradition had people impersonate the souls of the dead to receive offerings on their behalf in an effort to protect themselves from these souls of the people that they were impersonating. And then finally, in Scotland, youths went house to house with masks or painted faces, often threatening mischief if they were not welcomed.
Youths. So I am going to go next, and I got stuck with the religious aspect of Halloween.
Well, first of all,
because they knew that I could probably cover this well.
No, I wanted to talk about early history. I gave anybody the option that if they wanted to do that, they could.
And I just piped in before you. Mm-hmm. But be honest, which one would you have chosen?
This one.
Okay, then.
All right.
I don't want to hear it.
All right.
Hang on. Are we supposed to do our last cherry?
Oh, sure.
I gotta take a cherry.
What are we doing here?
Does anybody want to explain what we're taking?
It is a moonshine... chocolate moonshine?
Took a big deep breath to say it.
Sorry. Oh, I didn't know. I'm not looking at you.
It was just really funny because I could hear her go.
I haven't looked at her. All right, go on, Boydston.
No, please.
No.
Please explain it. I didn't mean to ruin
the... I don't want to.
God damn it, Lindsay. Okay, fine. I'll say. It's a cherry that was soaked in moonshine and chocolate.
Yep.
Is it soaked in chocolate?
I mean, I think it's chocolate flavoring.
Chocolate flavored moonshine?
It's like chocolate cherries, but moonshine.
Bottoms up.
I don't know.
My tongue's numb.
I know.
Yeah, it's like a Listerine soaked cherry.
Mm-hmm. It's like
the brown Listerine.
All right. So the Christian church traditionally observed Halloween through a vigil. Worshippers would pray and fast to observe All Saints' Day, which I'm going to get to All Saints' Day here in a sec. So this church service is called Vigil of All Hallows or the Vigil of All Saints. And I'm going to kind of switch back and forth between calling Halloween and All Hallows Eve. I feel like most people are pretty familiar with All Hallows Eve.
No, what does that mean?
So, All Hallows Eve is, in Old English, it means holy or sacred. So, it is the evening of holy persons. So, All Saints' Day, like I said, I'll get to that. That's going to be November 1st. And so, Mm-hmm. All Saints' Day is November 1st. So, All Hallows Eve was the day before. So, the evening of holy persons was October 31st. Okay. All right, so nowadays Christian attitudes vary about Halloween. Some emphasize the traditions associated with All Hallows Eve. So this was totally a thing that we celebrated in college. It's called Reformation Day. Have you guys ever heard of Reformation Day?
No. I'm the first to say it. I never celebrated Reformation Day.
It is something that Protestants celebrate. It is the day that Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to the All Saints Church in Wittenberg, Germany, and he did this on October 31st, 1517, on All Hallows Eve. 1517, All Hallows... I don't know, that doesn't roll as well as I thought it would.
Nail my things to the front of the church.
Nail my thesis to the front
of the church. I love it. Yes! Great.
I can keep going. Just keep going. I'll ad-lib.
So Martin Luther, he was a law student, and then he was an Augustinian monk, and he disagreed with the Pope. And the reason this is so important is because he was the first to publicly oppose the church. And back then, during that time, the church was kind of ruling everything. So he opposed the church on issues that were central to the church's beliefs. So things such as grace, salvation, and how we are saved. So this started the whole Protestant Reformation. That's why it's called Reformation Day. So it's kind of when the Catholic Church split and where we get Protestantism from. So he challenged the church in their authority and their doctrine, and his theses that he nailed to the church was like his grievances and complaints that he had, which
that's one way to get things across.
It's kind of badass. Like he went on like this holy day.
You will not ignore me.
And he was like, I have 95 grievances against you. I'm going to nail them on your church door. and walked away. And that was that.
I mean, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. So that's Reformation Day.
So that was your idea of...
So we celebrate, quote unquote, in college. And I mean, we don't do anything. We would just be like, Happy Reformation Day on October 31st. And everyone's like, Happy Halloween. We're like, it's Reformation Day.
That sounds exciting.
Did you dress up as Theses?
So, hold please. Like I said, this is the birth of Protestantism, and it is the split from Catholicism, specifically the Roman Catholic Church, and a celebration of religious freedom. So it is very significant for Lutheran churches and also Calvinist churches, which I'm not going to get into Calvinism because that is a whole thing I could go on for hours on. But it's basically just important for them because, like I said, it splits from the church. So it is also nowadays, sometimes they transfer it to the Sunday after Halloween, so it's called Reformation Sunday or Reformation Day. People do either or. So to celebrate Reformation Day, there are harvest festivals in which children dress up as Bible characters.
Oh my god.
I seem to remember a young Lindsey dressing up as a Bible character.
We had fall festivals is what we called it at church, and we would dress as Bible characters. You had to come as something.
All coming full circle.
Either Bible character or non-scary.
It was your winter solstice.
It was my Reformation Day.
Remind everybody what you dressed up as.
I was Miriam one year. Another year I was Mary. I think I went as Esther one year. I mean,
never Sarah.
I thought you said Joseph.
I was never Sarah. No, my brother was Joseph and I was Miriam, and I had little Moses in my basket.
Oh.
Was anybody ever Abraham?
My brother was Abraham once.
And nobody went as Sarah?
Rude.
I did not go as Sarah.
That's hurtful.
Sorry.
Look at you now.
And look at me now.
Hanging out with all Sarahs.
All Sarahs. So they would get candy, just like trick-or-treating, and they would have gospel tracts that they would hang out, which I also did this as a kid.
Sounds like a really fun time.
Handed out
gospel tracts.
Like music?
No. It's like a pamphlet.
Oh, I thought she meant like a CD.
Like this went into your boombox.
Tracts, T-R-A-C-T, not C-K.
Tracts.
Yeah.
So it's like a brochure, like a pamphlet about, hey, here's Jesus.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
Exactly.
I mean, no shame, but I would have been like, thanks.
Hand those out with the candy.
And we're like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
They put it in the bucket with the candy.
I don't want candy that bad.
Ignored the pamphlet, taking the candy.
All right.
And my CD. And on my way.
So there's a little bit about little Lindsey and how she celebrated Halloween growing up.
You know, it doesn't surprise me anymore.
No, I know. I was like writing about
the
this
magic
in Reformation
is gone.
Day, and I was like,
The magic is
this is me.
It's all making so much sense.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
All right, so the Christian church nowadays, like I said, they vary. Some feel that it celebrates the occult and paganism, which is incompatible with their beliefs. Some view it as a harmless, fun event for kids, and they hold the events in the church and use it as like an outreach ministry and to explain death and mortality.
Totally different things.
Yep, sorry. Missed the T. That was a typo.
Morality is something that you should explain.
Yes.
And with their hose.
Christian ministers have said that Halloween uses humor to confront the power of death.
Pagan hoes.
Those pagan hoes. They don't know what's up.
I feel like I'm a pagan hoe.
Polytheism, yeah. I think so.
Polytheism.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So now we're going to talk about All Saints Day. All right. So All Saints Day goes by many names. All Hallows Day. Hallowmas? Like Christmas?
No.
I don't like that as much. It's harder to say.
I veto.
You know, that reminds me of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Because of Hallowmas?
Yeah. They combined the two in the movie. Which wasn't my favorite thing in the movie, but I still loved the movie. But Hallowmas.
Hallowmas. I don't like it.
It's a miss.
The Feast of All Saints. It's another word that they call it. I'm just going to call it
Saints?
the Feast of All Saints.
Okay.
So All Saints Day is what I'm going to call it, but it goes by other names. So like I said, November 1st. This is All Saints Day, and it is a Christian day to celebrate and honor the saints. So basically, there's way too many saints to celebrate throughout the year, so they all just get one day to celebrate all of them at once. Some saints do get their own days, kind of like St. Patrick is one that I thought of. So this started as early as the 4th century, and they would have feasts to commemorate the Christian martyrs. So 609 AD, Pope Boniface? Okay. Pope Boniface. It says
I think that's what it is, though.
Boniface.
I don't know, it just sounds so funny when you're like, Boniface?
Pope John Boniface.
Pope Boniface IV. He dedicated the Pantheon in Rome as a church in honor of the Virgin Mary and all of the other martyrs. And that was 609 AD. So that's when he was like, this is All Saints' Day. But he did that on May 13th. So it was celebrated that day. And then in the 9th century, Pope Gregory III changed the date to November 1st when he dedicated St. Peter's Basilica?
How am I correcting you on this?
Basilica to all saints to combat pagan worship. So he did this on November 1st and was like, hey, we're changing the date, y'all. They were like, okay. And then 837 AD, Pope Gregory IV, the next pope, extended it to the whole Catholic Church, and that's when it became a recognized holiday. So it is still celebrated on November 1st by the Roman Catholic Church and sometimes by Protestant churches because Reformation Day happened way after this, and so they broke off from them, but some, because they had just always been observing All Saints' Day, continued observing it even though they broke from the church. That's why. Methodists still observe it as a day to give God gratitude for the lives and the deaths of the saints. So, my branch, we don't celebrate Saints' Day because we don't celebrate saints, but some Protestant churches do, apparently. I did not know that. So this became known eventually as All Hallows' Day as well, which was a day to ask for God's protection from evil in the world as well as to thank him for blessings. They would dress in costumes of evil spirits and saints to depict the battle between good and evil. So that's kind of the Western Church and the Western Catholic Church. The Eastern Orthodox Church, they celebrate it on the first Sunday after Pentecost, and that is about 50 days after Easter. So it's about 7 weeks after Easter. It's normally around June, beginning of June, end of May, depending on when Easter is that year. The Church of England, they still celebrate this as a principal feast, and they have kind of like a time range. They celebrate it between November 1st or the Sunday between October 30th and November 5th. So it is used to remember all Christians past and present. So not only just like saints, but also people who have died that previous year in their local congregation. They will remember them and light a candle for them. And then like the clergy, the pastor, the priest, whoever will call out each person's name who died that previous year. It's kind of just a way to honor the lost. It is also a celebration of Christ's victory over death while remembering the dead. Many countries observe All Saints' Day as a public holiday. Funny enough, the USA, Canada, and the UK are like some of the very few who do not observe it as a public holiday.
Interesting.
Like Germany, like a lot of South America, Poland, a lot of countries over in Europe except for the UK, they like have the day off from work, and it's like kind of like how Labor Day is for us. Mm-hmm. Banks are closed, schools are closed, all of that. It's a national holiday. Thought that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Different cultures celebrate All Saints' Day differently. Mexico, I'm sure most of us are familiar with Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. This coincides with around the first day of All Saints' Day as well, and they honor the dead. France, they call it La Toussaint, where they place flowers at tombs and graves to honor those. The Philippines, they call it Undas, and they remember the saints by honoring and paying respect to departed loved ones with prayers, flowers, and other offerings. So, pretty much just a day to honor people who have passed.
Well, let's get down to some traditions. Halloween traditions.
Tradition!
Oh my god. Ad-libbing over there.
Isn't that from Fiddler on the Roof?
I could not tell you. I've never seen that.
I think that's from Fiddler on the Roof. People correct me if I'm wrong.
We're going to go with that. I don't think Boydston's going to tell you.
Nope.
Yes, I've seen it. No, I don't know.
Really?
Oh, you've seen Fiddler on the Roof. Good job.
The musical?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've not.
Proud of you. Okay.
All right, the first tradition I'm going to talk to you guys about is carving pumpkins. Ooh.
I do that. Actually, no, I don't, because it's messy.
I like to stick my hand in it and squeeze it. Squeeze the guts.
Oh.
You're so weird.
I prefer to paint the pumpkins.
We paint the pumpkins with the kids. It's a little bit easier, less messy.
I just
Paint
think
is less messy
than like getting all the guts out.
with toddlers?
Yeah, I just strip them down to their underwear and let them paint on cardboard outside.
I just think they turn out prettier. I can't ever cut them the way I want them to turn out.
Yeah,
so
cutting them and
I can't deal with
out.
it. But maybe I'll be carving this year. I don't know. Challenge accepted. Nobody challenged me, but I'm going to do it.
I challenge you.
I challenged her first.
Dang it.
All right, so this originated in Ireland using turnips instead of pumpkins.
Turn up for what?
Turn up for what? Pause, though. I didn't mean to pause in the middle of your song, but if you saw the word STINGY...
Stingy.
That's what I can't figure out. Is it stingy or stingy?
I think it's stingy.
It's stingy, but what's the...
It's stingy, right?
Yeah.
It felt like there should be maybe an E in there.
No.
I'd say stingy.
Because it's coming up in my next sentence.
Okay.
As a name. So I had to figure it out.
A name.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So they
Like Stingy Bob?
close. It's supposedly based on a
stingy.
legend about a man named Stingy Jack.
Yeah,
Jack.
Stingy.
You're so close.
Should have gotten it. Halloween, Jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
There we go. Full circle. Here we are.
Well, Stingy Jack repeatedly trapped the devil.
I love it.
She's real stingy.
Stingy Jack.
What's his name?
No. Can you imagine that being your legacy? Stingy Sarah.
Yes, I can. And from now on, that's what I want to be referred to as. Stingy Sarah, the turnip carver.
Okay. Let's go.
All right, so Stingy Jack, he reportedly trapped the devil and only let him go on the condition that Jack would never go to hell. When he died, however, Jack learned that heaven didn't really want his soul either.
Oh gosh!
He was condemned to walk the earth as a ghost for all eternity.
Why was he so stingy? Do we know?
No, I didn't get into that because there's
Oh.
1,000 of these. The devil gave Jack a lump of burning coal and a carved out turnip to light his way.
Turn up for what?
Turn up for what?
It was just almost as funny as the second time you said it.
Probably make this joke another time before this is over.
I hope so. Eventually, the locals began carving frightening faces into their own gourds to scare off evil spirits. All right, the next, I guess, tradition would be seeing ghosts on Halloween.
Only on Halloween?
Yes.
Okay.
Only on Halloween, Lindsay.
Only on Halloween.
You would know if you celebrated Halloween, but you didn't.
I dress up as my favorite Bible character. How dare you?
No, it's not the same.
I also have a picture of me as Nala, so I went as not only just a
that's-
Bible character.
That's closer.
My brother was Simba.
Why are you and your brother like partners?
Did you have friends?
No, yes, I had friends. That's what my mom did. I do that with my kids too because they're twins. Like I always coordinate their costumes. Except this year they don't want to coordinate, and it makes me really sad. He wants to be Batman, and she wants to be a unicorn. I don't
Good
know
for
how to
her.
make that.
Mm-hmm.
Can somebody be a
Let
Triceratops?
Let them be their own thing.
She was a Triceratops last year, remember? And he was the T-Rex.
All right. May I proceed with my
You
seeing
may
ghost
proceed.
story?
Sorry. She's getting on to me for me and my brother dressing up.
As like husband and wife characters.
Okay, Simba and Nala, but we also were Miriam and Joseph, who were brother and sister characters.
Okay.
One year, I think he was a pirate. I don't remember what I was.
Were you a parrot?
No.
That would have been neat.
Were you the Caribbean?
The whole ocean.
I was the whole ocean, yes.
Aboard water.
I was the ship.
Oh my god. That's a great idea. All right, anyways, back to seeing ghosts.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. Celtic people believed that during the festival Samhain, which marked the transition to the new year at the end of the harvest and beginning of winter, spirits walked the earth. Later, the introduction of All Souls Day, which I am gathering may be different than All Saints Day because this is on November 2nd.
Oh, it might be.
I don't know.
It is.
It is. Okay. I don't know the differences between the Souls Day now and Spirits Day, but it's fine.
Saints.
I think one is dedicated to the saints and the other is dedicated to the deceased.
Yeah.
The souls.
The souls.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense. Thank you.
I'm here to help.
Okay. Anyways, the introduction of All Souls Day on November 2nd by Christian missionaries perpetuated the idea of a mingling between the living and the dead around the same time of year. All right, wearing scary costumes. I think you both have touched on this in different ways. Lindsay, yours were Bible characters.
I was not allowed to wear scary costumes.
Boydston, you talked about guising.
Mumming and guising.
Mumming
Yes.
and guising. I was paying attention. I was watching your lips.
Thank you.
You're so weird.
was reading your lips.
I know I was looking at you, Boydston, when I said that, but I meant Sarah.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else not read lips when you listen to people
Not
talk?
really.
I try and look at people's eyes.
Yeah, I look at their eyes.
I apparently don't.
I cannot
Stare
read
right
lips.
at your mouth.
That makes me really uncomfortable because I don't like my teeth. So
Her eyes are her best feature. You need to look at her eyes.
thank you.
I know how to read mouths. I'm deaf. Okay.
Do you know how to read lips really well?
It helps me a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. See,
It
I
does.
can't read lips at all, so it would not help me.
And that's why I did so great in the Whisper Challenge. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
I was
I
the
did
worst out of
terrible.
all three.
No, I feel like you did pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Wearing scary costumes.
Yep,
All
there
right.
we are.
With all the ghosts wandering around the earth during Samhain, the Celts had to get creative to avoid being terrorized by evil spirits. This is probably similar to what you said. So they decided to fake out the ghosts by wearing disguises so they would be confused as spirits and left alone. So trick-or-treating, there's 3 different versions that are touched on.
Okay.
The first one is the pagan way, and there's lots of debate on the origins of trick-or-treating. One theory is that during Samhain, Celtic people would leave out food to appease the souls, ghosts, and spirits that were wandering the earth that night. Eventually, people started dressing up as these things in exchange for similar offerings of food and drink. The Scottish version is that they think that the candy craze stems from the Scottish practice of guising, which is a secular version of souling. That's what they said. And it doesn't help really clear it up for me, but if that makes sense to you, then I'm happy for you.
Guising is where they dress up in disguise.
But what is a
That makes
secular
sense.
version of souling? That's how they described it.
Then it must be where they dress up in disguise.
Okay, thank you. That really cleared it up.
I have no confusion no more.
In the Middle Ages, soulless, who were usually children and poor adults, would
Aw.
go to local homes and collect food or money in return for prayers said for the dead on All Souls Day. Why are you laughing?
The soulless are children and
old
what?
people.
Old adults?
Old, poor people. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lindsay, why aren't you sad about that?
Lindsay is part of the soulless.
I don't like being told to feel things.
I usually feel things after you feel things, so I just am surprised.
That is very sad to call
No,
people
not
soulless.
anymore.
No one is soulless.
Lindsay doesn't care.
Everyone has a soul.
She says that now.
I don't know. I don't speak for these people.
They had souls.
They, however, they preferred jokes, songs, or other tricks instead of prayers. Don't pray for them. Just they would rather
Save your prayers.
Save your prayers. I'd rather give you a trick.
food.
The American way is that the modern day trick or treating comes from Belschnickling. I was saving that for you.
That was
That's my favorite thing.
fluent.
You're
German.
So good at German.
Fluent.
So good.
How did you know it was German?
I feel like you just yell very loud, and I'm like, yes, I understoed that.
I tried really hard.
I
to
know
not
your
laugh.
German accent well.
Your German accent is on point. It's just angry yelling.
I tried not to yell in your ears.
No, you
No,
did,
you didn't
you did
yell
really
as
well.
bad.
I even
You didn't
backed
yell.
away.
You didn't yell like you did last time. Crankenheimer!
It's cranking wagon.
I know, but was that what she said the first time?
Yes.
Yes.
It was ambulance.
Okay, so what is... Wait, that was an actual word? I thought you were just making something up.
It wasn't. It wasn't even close, but it was in my head.
Okay,
Okay.
so what was this word again, really?
Belschnickling.
Gesundheit.
I can't seriously pronounce it so well. I would not be able to.
I think the Germans would differ with your opinion.
Please, anybody that speaks German, do not weigh in on my accent. I already know.
I just want to believe that it's beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Well.
One more time. People on the back. Dang it, how do you spell it?
Belsnick.
Belsnick?
L-I-N-G.
Belsnick.
Belsnickling.
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 You get all nasally. I love it. It's so good.
That's probably not right at all.
Are you doing pronunciations?
Yep.
Belsnickel.
No, gosh, that does not sound.
Belsnickling.
Belsnickel.
But it's
Belsnickel?
L-I-N-G. It's Belsnickling. It's the act of.
Besnickel.
She doesn't even sound like she's saying the last syllable.
I mean, you get the point.
Okay.
So
was
my
beautiful.
accent was a little off.
I already forgot what even this word is.
Well, it is a tradition in German American communities where children would dress in costume and then call on the neighbors to see if the adults could guess who they were.
Aww.
If no one could guess who they were, then they were given food or other treats.
That's fun.
It was
Okay.
a fun tradition.
That is fun.
All right, let's talk about black cats.
Okay.
The association of black cats and spookiness.
I thought like there was an association of black cats, like a society.
Yes. It's the
These-
Black Cat Society.
Black cats and Halloween.
Alcohol's
That's
hitting
what
me.
we're talking about.
The Black Cat
Black Cat
Society.
Society.
Oh my god. This
Oh,
accent has been thick tonight.
I say. It's a Black Cat Society. What? Was that even English?
I don't think so.
I don't think it was either. I'm so sorry.
Especially the way you're sitting in that chair and your arms
I'm
are up
like-
on your hips. All right, well, back to the black cats.
Black Cat Society. That's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we're at. I'm
The
here.
Association of Black Cats and Spookiness.
Spookiness.
I see what you were thinking. I see.
She thinks
I was
it's a
like, what the fuck
society.
are you talking about? I
It's
made
an
it.
association
It's a
that she
secret
wants
society,
to be part
okay.
of. Yes, it's like the Illuminati, but with black cats.
Can I
Yeah.
join?
Yes,
You're
you may.
not a black cat.
What is the secret password?
Neither do you have a black
Meow.
cat. That's too easy.
The intonation was not right.
Meow.
There it is.
Meow.
Meow. See?
Let me in right now.
I'll say meow. You remind me of like Yosemite Sam.
Black Cat Society. I can't wait to hear what this actually is.
I know. Now that we've cleared that up. Okay, well, it dates back to the Middle Ages when they were considered as a symbol of the devil. Fast forward a few centuries, it didn't really help when witches were often found to have black cats as companions. People started believing that black cats were the witches' familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And people also believe that witches turned themselves into black cats in order to avoid detection. All right, bobbing for apples. The game goes back to a courting ritual that was part of a Roman festival honoring Pomona, who
Yeah.
you spoke about earlier. She's the goddess of agriculture and abundance. Multiple versions exist, but the main theme is that young men and women would be able to tell their future relationships based on a game. When the Romans conquered the British Isles, the Pomona festival was around the same time as Samhain, a precursor for Halloween. All right, the colors black and orange, how they are associated with Halloween. These
Yes.
colors go back to the Celtic festival, again, of Samhain. We've talked about this a jillion times now. And black represented the death of summer, and orange was the symbol of autumn harvest season.
Makes sense.
Yeah. My favorite topic, bats.
Hmm.
You know what? Surprisingly, it's not that crazy of a story. During Samhain, the Celts lit large bonfires, which attracted insects, which also attracted bats.
Sure.
They soon became associated with a number of superstitions around bats. That's really about it.
Bats are creepy. I mean,
They
I
just
get it.
came around that time. Witches. When we think of the stereotypical witch, like the ones that are haggard looking with pointy black hats and warts on the nose,
Yeah.
they stem from a pagan goddess known as the crone.
Okay.
The crone was honored during Samhain, and she was known as the Old One and Earth Mother, who symbolized wisdom, change, and the turning of the season.
Okay.
And the cauldron. Pagan Celts believed that after death, all souls went into the crone's cauldron, which symbolized the Earth Mother's womb. There, the souls would await reincarnation, and the crone's stirring would allow for new souls to enter the cauldron and old souls to be reborn.
Interesting.
The witch's broomstick. It's a superstition that's rooted in medieval myths. The women that were accused of witchcraft were often poor and couldn't afford houses, so they would go through the woods on foot using walking sticks, and sometimes they were substituted for brooms because that's all they had. In full disclosure, I think I said couldn't afford houses, but I wanted to correct it because I didn't say it right. They couldn't afford horses.
Houses, horses, hoes,
So then they would walk through the woods.
Okay.
So, just a few superstitions for you. And to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised at these because I didn't really recognize any of these, but I included them. You're supposed to be careful at crossroads. Okay? Because in Wales, a disembodied spirit was thought to be sitting at every crossroad on All Hallows Eve.
Okay.
I don't know what they did, but they sat there.
So be careful crossing the street. That's
You're not-
a good rule of thumb for every
Yeah, but specifically at crossroads.
Yes.
Okay? You're not supposed to eat blackberries after Halloween. All right. In the British Isles, it was said to be evil to eat blackberries after Halloween because on that night, the spirit called Puka, which is
Puka,
Irish for ghosts, comes out and defiles them.
Oh, like,
because does Puka have a thing for blackberries?
I think Puka has a thing for blackberries.
how does one defile a blackberry?
No, my brain went
people
places.
eating blackberries.
Oh.
I took it as Puka defiled the blackberries.
Well, I don't care about the blackberries. I care about me.
I took it as he defiled the blackberries, and so I was supposed to eat
That was
them.
the original berries and cream.
If you notice a little frost on the blackberries, it's a no.
Oh, gross.
I don't make the rules.
Because they're disgusting.
Thank you.
All right. If you want a child born with otherworldly abilities,
Oh, I'm taking notes. Go on.
give birth on Halloween.
I have a friend who was born on Halloween. Growing up.
Children born on Halloween were said to have the power to see spirits and converse with fairies. So, little small story. I was in the hospital on Halloween, and the doctor wouldn't come in because it was Halloween. And she said it was bad luck to have babies on Halloween. So, I mean, like, of course, if it was an emergency, she would have. But I ended up waiting for 2 days, so my child is actually born on All Souls Day.
Wow.
But I went in on Halloween. It was a long time. Beware of witches on Halloween, which is a good rule of thumb.
You should beware of witches pretty much all the time.
I think witches get a bad rap, honestly.
Of course you say that.
I do. I don't think they're all evil.
Oh, no.
All right, so at one time, Halloween was thought to be the occasion for a major celebration led by the devil. Witches were said to leave sticks in their beds to fool their husbands. Like, they'll never notice. It's not me. So then they would ride to the festivities on their broomsticks.
On their broomsticks, yes.
Anointed with the fat of murdered, unbaptized infants.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, witches aren't all bad.
Okay, they're not all that bad. These witches...
They murdered children.
These are all Sarah from Hocus Pocus. And that's what I have for you. That's the end of the traditions and superstitions.
Okay.
Of Halloween.
I hope that you guys enjoyed our little Halloween episode to kickstart our spooky season.
Please give us a 5-star review and a great rating on anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it does help.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.